Hey folks, it's me Chris, and I wanted to take a few seconds of your time to talk about this awesome new opportunity that we've been presented with for all of our lovely listeners. We can now offer you all a 1-month free trial from audible.com, allowing you full access to a vast library of audiobooks to choose from. As I mentioned earlier, the trial is completely free, and all you have to do is visit audibletrial.com/GHS and follow the instructions to sign up for a free membership today. We hope you guys enjoy Audible just as much as we do, and thanks for your time. But okay, great. I guess on that wow. On that
nude, no density there.
I had a density moment, yeah. I guess on that note, we'll go ahead and move on with the show. Dude, we got a lot of really cool stuff to talk about. Some stuff has popped up this week. Which ones are you looking at, Adnan? Do you think you want me to start us off? Because we didn't really.
I'll take the first one.
Good. All right. We'll do. You go. You go. I'll go, and then you go. We'll do it like that.
To me, to you. So, big news came last week. We feel like we've held off this topic for a while, but for good reasons, because now we can talk about it. But Ubisoft has indicated the Assassin's Creed franchise may not resume its yearly release when it returns.
Woohoo!
So, so on February 11th, Yves Gilmore, I always mess his name up.
Yeah, I can't say his name either.
Yeah, I'm going to go with that. Confirmed Ubisoft would not be releasing a new entry in the series in 2016, ending a 7-year trend that started with Assassin's Creed 2. Instead, it is taking time off so that it can re-examined and evolved. That makes no sense, but I'll go with Mr. Arc Writer. Asked during a presentation during Ubisoft's Investor Day whether Assassin's Creed would be a yearly release when the franchise is reintroduced, Gilmore said that the releases would be, quote, regular, end quote, but didn't commit to the yearly cycle. And he said, and I quote, "The goal is not automatically to come back on annual cycle, but to come on a regular basis. We saw it was time to give it lots of time so developers could really work on the property and all mechanics to make sure so we could take the series to another level." He added on top of that, and I quote, what we are seeing today is promising. We will be able to come on a regular basis, but we can't say every year," end quote. Oh yeah, there's a lot of stuff missing on this.
Yeah.
But yeah, like a lot of apostrophes and commas and stuff. Never mind. I'm not going to be pedantic on that kind of thing. Later on in the presentation, Chief Financial Officer Elaine Martinez suggested the franchise could eventually return to yearly releases, which is ironic. The last thing you want to do is like PR first. Yeah. But Martinez said, and I quote, we are focused one of our best teams behind what we are working on, Assassin's Creed. We have given them all the time for releasing something that we hope to be exceptional. We are setting up rules that they will have enough time to polish the game. Oh, I hate that term so much. And come with something really exceptional. Oh, I hate that was me, by the way. So this is what we have for our first priority. Then after that, it feels like we are in the right direction and that we can continue the path and we have enough innovation for the next one. We might come with the next one in the next year, but it's no longer something that we'll be setting up every year, end quote. The company previously explained the decision to give Assassin's Creed a break would allow its designers and developers to make better use of modern technology. On the current console generation, Ubisoft has released Assassin's Creed Unity and Assassin's Creed Syndicate. Ubisoft said, and I quote, in 2016, we are also stepping back to re-examine the Assassin's Creed franchise. As a result, we decided that there will not be an Assassin's Creed game in 2016. Since the release of Assassin's Creed Unity, we've learned a lot based on your feedback. We've also updated our development process and recommitted to making Assassin's Creed a premier open-world franchise. We're taking this year to evolve game mechanics and to make sure we're delivering on promise of Assassin's Creed, offering unique and memorable gameplay experiences that make history everyone's playground, end quote.
So
on
fuck.
Top of, there's a lot more in it as well that they talk about the Assassin's Creed movie and maybe the next game relating to that, but
right.
They ruled that out. I'm not going to keep reading because we're going to be here for years otherwise.
Yeah,
but it's a beefy article.
Yeah, but holy shit, man, this is like, what was it? You're right. Like they're bouncing. They're like, not necessarily yearly, and then the other guy's like, yearly, but maybe not. Like this is
Yeah,
it's funny.
it's not really a cohesive message you want to send out when you say
Yeah, holy shit.
everything.
Yeah, holy shit. Damn. I mean, I am 100% down with taking a break because I really feel like we have this, and this is not just in video games. This is in the general nature that I think society has gotten to, that we're very disposable now with our entertainment. Like, you can go to YouTube, look something up, it pops up, you watch it, ha ha ha, and then you take it away. Like, in a week, you'll forget about it. And, like, even with movies, like, we have a Marvel movie every year, we're going to have a Star Wars movie every year. The video games, we have a Call of Duty every year, Assassin's Creed was going around. And I hate that so much, because I remember when I was a kid, dude, like, you would get a game, and you would play it, and you're like, oh, God, this is such a great game. And then you would have to wait, like, 2 or 3 years for the next game. But in that wait, you got to really kind of, like, think about what you played and ruminate on it and, like think up, what I want to see in the sequel, and it really gave you time to appreciate that game or that movie or whatever the hell the case is. But now it's like, I've forgotten the last couple of Assassin's Creed games because they've came out every year and I was buying them. So then after a while I started forgetting what the fuck happened and like what happened in Revolutions or what happened in fucking, I was about to say American Pie, Assassin's Creed 3. Like what happened? I forgot about it because of like the whole yearly release. And I'm so down with this, man. I wish more people would do this. I wish people would just like release their game or their movie or whatever, and then like have people watch it. And if it does great, like don't release something and already have like 5 sequels planned. Like take a break, man. Like sit back.
But you gotta have a sequel, Chris.
See, like that's I hate that mentality. I wish like if you want to make a sequel to something, I think that's great. Go for it. But like give it time, man. Like the cookies just came out of the oven. Don't start making more cookie dough. Let those cookies cool off. Eat them. Appreciate them. Like get sick off of how many you ate, and go poop or something. Then you could think about doing other stuff. Like I don't know. That's just as I'm getting older, I'm starting to really hate yearly release things. But
that's a good way of thinking about it, but it is business.
Yeah, of course.
Strategically, what I think they're doing is looking at the reception the movie will receive first.
Right.
And then reformulating and kind of revising things from there, because they can change the entire series and the spectrum based on who they draw in. Mm-hmm. Because if Assassin's Creed is the next fucking big Prince of Persia thing, even though... Well, actually, no, because it was next Prince of Persia. Well, in the sense, if it was more of like a new entertainment form where people really want to consume it, it becomes, the biggest, hippest thing since cheese, let's say, then they'll obviously need to cater to the new audience because they're not going to keep carrying things on. The story did drag itself out. It went wrong directions. It tumbled, etc., etc. There's like a million different problems with it. So obviously that makes sense, like why they're doing that. They need what Call of Duty has, because if you are fatigued by Call of Duty, you are, but at the end of the day, their development cycle, Activision, they don't put out broken games because of like how the development cycle works. 3 years, 3 rotating studios, you get a lot of time to work on a game. Reasonably enough, for 3 years, that's quite a long time to work on a game, just in general, for a shooter title. So there are reasons why they have that kind of structure in place. I think Ubisoft will look at something like that.
Yeah.
They do need it because there's no real structure to it. They're just kind of like waddled along on the success of what Assassin's Creed 2 gave them. Like, that entire revamping, reformulating, and kind of like just way of playing the game. Because like look at examples like MGS5 is a completely different story, but that game plays completely different. It took a linear, which was already a non-linear game, looked linear now. You look at other Metal Gear games; they are very linear, and now that kind of that how it took on open world stealth, how it took on an open world approach. The Witcher takes an open world. Assassin's Creed is not premier open world, quote, as they said, and it never will be because it's not evolved to that point. These games, these developers have looked at different ways of thinking about it. I read an article where someone said that Bethesda needs to look at what CD Projekt Red did with The Witcher 3. Because they completely overshadowed them. Within reasonable thing, that's a good way of putting it, because they took something where this like really unknown developer came along and it's like, hey, you know what? We're going to test something. We're going to show something. There's so much potential to what just open world is, because open world thing is the new cheese, as I'd like to use again as the cheese. It is the new cheese. Like everyone wants a slice of it, but at the same time, you have to be very unique and kind of like have a good sense of what you're taking with open world. Because for me, I'm someone who can literally go from thinking, hey, it's an open world game, and it's like, oh, I'm playing the same repetitive mission 4 times, and it's very boring now, and I might just buy a new game instead. Like, yeah, you get your hours worth and whatever else you want to make as an excuse, but at the same time, you need very substantial quality in it. Assassin's Creed does really lack that, because it's like, here's another generic mission, here's this, here's that. Oh, okay, and then it's like really bizarre thing. See, the thing is though, like, okay, go back to 11/22/63. The first episode set up so well. That's what Assassin's Creed 1 did.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not, a technical marvel in its gameplay. For its time, I think it was. But, it set up the mysteries behind that game. Like, oh, this is really cool. Along with the cool history I can learn, or like the way, again, how they're revising history and looking at it in a different way. They are doing this with a story, making all this kind of like ideas of like Templars and like etc. etc. It really like engaged. It had its own mythology and universe, which is Gears of War had, and that's a great idea behind it. But yeah, going back to this entire thing, I think it makes sense. I think they're obviously laying down low on it for now. They've got good sales with Syndicate, even though they did drop from previous years, and now it is time now, because it won't go down. And obviously, as well at the same time, Watch Dogs 2 is expected this year.
Yeah, so that's going to be the replacement.
Yeah, and what Watch Dogs 2 can do is just like, has to be a lot after the disappointment of Watch Dogs, which was really, really bad, which I never finished, and I don't plan on finishing ever, because it was a terrible, terrible game.
I still can't believe that one boss. Fuck you, dog! Man, fuck you! That was so stupid.
I didn't even get to that point. Like, I think if I would have finished that game, I probably would have given it like a 2. I generously gave it like a 3 out of 5, maybe 3. It would have gone out to a 2 or 1, because I was just so pissed off that game. That game was just a mess in like every shape.
One of the probably the biggest disappointment to me in a video game of recent years, I think, would be Watch Dogs. That was 2014, right?
Yeah,
I think it was. Yeah, God, that was such a... Yeah, I was there with you, dude. That was a huge disappointment. Dude, you bring up really great points. Open world has become, like the new cheese, as we've been saying. Like the new trend, like the in thing for video games. Like, kind of like how, ensemble superhero movies is now a huge thing. So everyone's trying to, like, create their own cohesive universe. Like,
video games are becoming the new cinema thing, though. The comic book fatigue is hitting. You see a lot more video games coming up with adaptations now in the cinema screen. I read an article on, I think maybe Forbes or something, where it said that video games are going to be the new comic book, like, plug-in.
Oh,
I was like,
really?
Yeah, I was like, that could make sense, because it would make sense in Hollywood for something like that to come out. Michael Fassbender in Assassin's Creed movie. In itself, it kind of appeals to what it is.
If it's successful, it could be like the second, almost like the third generation. Yeah, like it's almost like the third generation of wave of video game adaptations could become. Yeah, damn.
Michael Fassbender will one day become an amiibo.
Because what was it like? One first generation was like what, like Street Fighter and Bison Dollars and Mortal Kombat, and then second generation was like
the economy will be replaced with Bison Dollars.
And then second generation was like Resident Evil and like all these other things and the shitty Uwe Boll movies. And now this could be Assassin's Creed is the beginning of like this third generation that could really kind of like reinforce. I'd be down for that, man. Put a good name in video game movies. But yeah, we'll. I mean, I'm curious to see what Ubisoft ends up doing. I've already said my piece. I'm in the camp of we need to stop yearly releases. I want to give a shit again of Assassin's Creed. And if they want to do that, they want to like release an open world game, see how people receive it, wait a little bit and then go back to it. I think that would actually increase sales. Because then, there's like a drive. Look at Fallout. Dude, did you know that before Fallout 3, the last Fallout game that came out was 1998? There was a 10-year wait between Part 2 and Part 3. That's crazy. And the third game came out in 2008, and this game came out last year. That's a big wait. They took their time, So I'd like to see more of that. I think that's cool when developers take their time. They, make something that's a work of art and then release it. And I think
obviously, it goes back to the point of like time is money though as well. At the same time, you have to be very careful.
Exactly. Yeah, they got to be careful because you got to get back that revenue, right? So you gotta,
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, so I'd be curious to see what happens. I know for sure we're not getting a game this year, and I'm pretty sure we're gonna get one next year. And then we'll see where they go from there. Because Ubisoft, like you said, they definitely seem to be weighing their options. All right, well, I guess to move forward, so this is kind of cool. Since the last episode that we recorded, the DICE Awards happened. Yeah, the DICE Awards. And so Adam and I wanted to take the time really quickly just to kind of like go, through some of the awards that happened and like what happened to, who won what and what have you. On a side note, I think this is not listed in the complete list of winners, but I thought this was really curious. So during the ceremony, Hideo Kojima inducted he was inducted as the AIAS video game luminary as its 21st Hall of Fame recipient, which honors
21.
Yeah.
which it, no, obviously it's not like a different way. It does say everything though, doesn't it? I think they were waiting for the right timing.
Well, which it says here, it honors individuals who have been instrumental in the development of highly influential games, which I think we could agree Kojima's done. And then
that Doom was great from Hideo Kojima.
Yeah, and then posthumously, is that how you say it? I always
Posthumously.
Yeah, Satoru Iwata, the late Satoru Iwata, was received the Lifetime Achievement Award, and he's the 5th recipient to receive that, and it honors recipients distinguished for their business leadership. So I thought that was kind of nice.
Which, in itself was agreed.
Say what you will, but Iwata was a good guy, man. I mean, what's that
Good
famous?
businessman.
Yeah, what was that quote he said? Like on my card, it says it's such a beautiful quote, man. But in my heart, I'm a gamer. Like I forgot, he says like on my business card, it says I'm this. To me, I'm this, but in my heart, I'm this. And and at the end, he's like, in my heart, I'm a video gamer. I always thought that was just really nice. But okay, so game of the year was Fallout 4, according to DICE. Yeah, which I haven't beaten Fallout 4 yet, but so I would disagree only because I thought Phantom Pain won Game of the Year for me personally. Which actually Phantom Pain did win. It won Adventure Game of the Year.
Yeah, it won a lot of that, which is really strange.
Yeah.
how much Metal Gear's changed, if it's in the adventure game category.
Yeah. This is interesting. Action Game of the Year was Star Wars Battlefront. I would think that would be more multiplayer game of the year than like action game. Is it really there's action in it, but it's more of a wouldn't that be more multiplayer category since that's the main appeal or the main drive of it? I thought it was kind of weird. And then family game of the year, Super Mario Maker. I would agree with that. Fighting game of the year.
Great game.
Yeah, fighting game of the year, Mortal Kombat X. I don't know what else it had.
I think there were better fighting games out there, but fair enough.
But and then Rocket League Sport Game of the Year. There you go. And
Rocket League.
It also won the DICE Sprite Award.
They fucking damn straight. Well,
why? Wait, what is the DICE Sprite Award? Why did Rocket League win a Sprite Award?
As great as Games for Change, as the Game Awards show us, the Games for Change. Whatever that fucking means.
Like, did you drink a lot of Sprite when you played Rocket League? I'm more of a Mountain Dew guy, but let's move on.
Oh, Mountain Dew, come on!
I love Mountain Dew.
Come on, pure fucking sugar. Do you know that? Do you know what I found out? That was an interesting fact. Mountain Dew was originally a whiskey mixer.
Really?
Yeah, they were originally looking for a mixer to go with whiskey.
I gotta try that. That sounds like it'd be delicious.
Someone who's a whiskey drinker, I was like, this is very interesting. I don't think Mountain Dew in its current state would go well with whiskey. It's just pure sugar.
Right. Well, I drink Diet Mountain Dew, so it's no sugar.
Oh well, yeah. All that sugar that's coming, sweetness coming in. Oh yeah, so we'll get rid of that sugar.
Well, I mean,
it's like literally it's like getting a sweet lollipop, dipping it in sugar, just like sucking it immediately. That's Mountain Dew. It doesn't that I haven't drunk it because I do fucking love it, but it's like having a heart attack in a can.
No, dude, I have to drink these soft drinks sparingly. For the most part, I drink water, but like occasionally I dabble, and goddamn, do I dabble. Oh, dude, I thought this was a very apt award. Outstanding achievement in character, Rise of the Tomb Raider. Because we talked
Yes.
about that on Spoilercast,
Yes.
how Lara was without a doubt the most interesting character. Unfortunately, I still think the supporting characters are boring as shit, but she's like a
Yeah.
great character. So hats off. I thought that was a good award.
Yeah.
And then let's see, the last couple of ones here. Outstanding achievement in sound design was Star Wars Battlefront. I definitely agree with that. That sound design was.
I give them that. Yeah,
I mean,
there's a large scale production point to that game, especially on that.
Yeah.
With focus being on that. So
Which-
yeah, I give them that.
but I think it's kind of a cheap award because they basically got all the sound design from Lucasfilm. Like they gave it to them.
Yeah, isn't this Dice Awards and Dice's game?
That is funny.
Isn't there something morally corrupt about this? Like,
Well, I don't think it's not the same dice though. This is dice. This is a different dice.
they put dots in their name.
Yeah, they put dots. See?
We're DISCE.
Right.
We're not that die. Red arm, missing eye, horn coming out of them.
They're the venom snake to this dice. So yeah. And then outstanding achievement in story was Witcher 3, which I don't know if I agree with that. It's outstanding achievement in story. I mean, Witcher 3 had a decent story, but I don't know if it's astounding achievement in story. I think that's a little. I agree with them winning technical achievement. Fuck yeah, Witcher 3. Like, dude, you haven't played that game yet. You got to play that game. You're looking for a game to play, Adnan? Get fucking. I think it's like $30 now. It's gonna be on sale or something. Buy it, man. That's definitely worth it. Yeah, I don't know, dude. I don't know what the hell. I don't know if I agree with a lot of these awards.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them, I'm kind of half and half with it, right?
Yeah, we're all going to be split on some of them. I can't really. This is the thing with awards things. It's the same with the Oscars. I don't give a shit about the Oscars, and neither do that.
Yeah.
Neither do I care about the Emmys. One day I will win one, but that's in another conversation for itself because the Oscars. The Oscars will give me a award, but like it was a really divisive year though with kind of games though. Just like Her Story took a load of awards last year. The Witcher 3 dominated a lot of the awards. Publication wise, we put MGS up there. I think MGS barely won any of the publication game of the years.
Dude.
In itself, I would put. Sorry, go on.
No, sorry to interrupt you. I found out what the Dice Sprite Award is. Okay, Dice Sprite Award. No, seriously, I was really interested in this. It's an award given to a game having disproportionate resources for development and exposure, represent a higher degree of risk tolerance, and advances our media with innovative gameplay and experiences. So basically a game that was not promoted well, but still does amazing. And I agree that Rocket League... Yeah, Rocket League totally wins that, doesn't it?
Yeah, I give it that. I'm surprised Life is Strange didn't win many awards this year.
Yeah, it is kind of weird.
I do beat the drum a lot in that game, but I do still think it is very bizarre how it's not won many awards. It picks up in very strange categories as well, but pun intended. No, but we're all going to be different though. Because obviously, I would give Life is Strange a lot more awards because what it was and Tales and stuff like this. But yeah, it's not too bad. Fallout 4 is a very interesting choice to pick, especially with, like as I said, with how people think that The Witcher 3 was it was a better kind of like an open world game.
Yeah, everyone. Oh my god, dude! People like praised Witcher 3 up and down, and I mean, I agree with the praise though. That game is, dude, you seriously need to play it. It's a really fucking good game. All right, well, Dice Awards, I don't know. I'm kind of like, it's really hit or miss for me. Some of them I agreed with, some of them not as much. But I guess, do you want to close us out, Adnan, before we move on to our last topic?
Yes, I will do. 2 seconds, my page has crashed. Right. Okay, so is it Jetflow? Jetflow?
Yeah, I think I don't know. I think it might be Jeff. The PH makes a F sound.
Yeah, okay, so Jeff Lowe squashes Punisher spin-off reports. So last month, it was reported that streaming site Netflix was very close to greenlighting a spin-off of Marvel's Daredevil, focusing on John Bernthal's character, Frank Castle, aka The Punisher. Now, however, Marvel's head of television, Jeff Lowe, says that it may not be so. He said, and I quote, "I think that's something that people are speculating on, as opposed to something that's actually happening. It's certainly our hope that any of our characters will be embraced and that people want to see more of them, end quote. Loeb did admit of being surprised by the renewal of Marvel's Jessica Jones, meaning perhaps its Punisher spin-off is still in the cards, is still on the cards, Mr. Article Writer. And I quote, this should be an actual show, I just correct. Anyway, Loeb said, and I quote, when they announced that Jessica Jones was getting a second season, every single report said it should come as a surprise to no one that Jessica Jones has received a second season order. I'm the guy going, well, it was a surprise to me. It isn't given. It isn't a given in television. The fact that we get to continue telling stories with these characters speaks a lot about the quality of the storytelling and the acting and the writing. We are telling the best stories that we can at Netflix, and they seem to be responding to it. End quote. By the way, I agree with that as well, because I don't understand when people say it should be something, because I was like, with Hannibal, I was worried every single episode that it wouldn't get renewed for next season. And the same with Marvel's Jessica Jones, because Jessica Jones in itself isn't big. Critically, yes, but commercially, not really. Same with Carter. Like, you can't really... there's very... Like, for example, I would say about Supergirl, because that kind of show in itself, the branding is much more of a popular scale. Maybe it's not critically doing that well, but commercially, by far, it's doing very well.
Right.
But anyway, back to the article. Burnful will make his debut as gun-toting vigilante in the second season of Marvel's Daredevil, which, Chris, I'm very excited about. But anyway, he said, and I quote, I can tell you that this guy, horrible, tragic things happen, and we'll see how he goes through that. The effect the other characters have on him will punish him certain directions. I think once you see these characters collide, it's tremendously interesting and emotionally gripping as well. It's going to be a special season. If you thought the last season of Daredevil was dark, we're going to a whole new place, end quote. Marvel's Daredevil Season 2 will premiere worldwide on Netflix March 18th.
Yeah, that's right around the corner. I can't wait.
Yeah, we'll have to structure that out to get a spoiler cast.
Dude, I have to say I really appreciate Jeff Loeb kind of going out there and saying all this, because, like, it's kind of like that disposable nature that I've told you about, that people, like, just assume, oh, this is going to get a sequel, And, like, he even said, remember, it should come as a surprise to no one. And he's the guy saying, well, it's a surprise to me.
Yeah.
Because it's true. Yeah. Like, these are things that, like, they are not planned. Like, I remember Netflix's Marvel's original plan in general was, remember they said, okay, we're going to have a Daredevil show, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, like, so these 4 individual programs, and then they're all going to cross over in a miniseries called The Defenders. And look at how much that's changed now. We've gotten Daredevil, Jessica Jones. We're about to get Daredevil Season 2. We're going to get Luke Cage. We're going to get Jessica Jones. It's all being, like, kind of like spread out and shit. And who knows what's going to happen after Daredevil Season 2 is done. We might get a Season 3,
Yeah, they're onto something completely different now.
Yeah.
Because obviously things have to change. Like, that's why probably, like, the Marvel execs were like, oh yeah, we're going to change this now because we've got something else going for us.
Right.
And it's not guaranteed assumptions that we make assumptions too much and everyone's mistaken for it. But, like, you have to be very careful with making them, because, like, sometimes what you think and perceive as something that's positive isn't necessarily the case in the back room.
Right.
Because they'd be like, we're not getting this, we're not getting that, X, Y, Z, blah, blah. And it's kind of like, okay, then they have to kind of go back to the drawing board and be like, hey, this is not... So Jessica Jones was one of those things that I was like, oh, this is a really good show. I didn't think, like, yeah, it needs a sequel, make a sequel because it's going to draw on everyone. It's a very strange show in itself, because it's not traditionally, quote unquote, superhero-y. Mm-hmm. It appeals to a very certain audience. There's going to be a very specific audience that's really going to consume it as kind of media. So that is one of those things you have to be very careful with. But it's very interesting to see his kind of insight and kind of like take on everything.
Yeah.
Because like him being like, at the head of one of the heads of not Netflix doing the Marvel stuff.
Right.
It has almost been a television revolution in itself. Not as the start of a television revolution, not a complete revolution, but the start of something very special that they're going to keep continuing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's quick to make something up like a Punisher spin-off already.
Yeah.
The season 2 hasn't even come out. We saw a trailer of him. That's it. Like, it's like, come on.
What if he sucks, right? Like, I mean, there's a possibility he might be a bit lukewarm, But it's the same thing with Batman v Superman, though. Yeah, this and that. It'll gross a shit ton of money, but it doesn't mean that, the Justice League might follow as it does. Yeah.
They might chop off Snyder from everything and then make it a completely different reimagining, reinterpretation. You have to go back to the drawing board on, like, a different level. When people get disappointed and stuff. But then with the Watch Dogs thing, like, Ubisoft will really kind of, like, looking at things differently to kind of appeal to things. Those people who will buy Watch Dogs 2 as new consumers will buy it, but then you also have the disgruntled people, the kind of people who are annoyed with everything else. You have to kind of like look at them and appeal to them in different ways.
Right, right. It's dude, it's kind of like another example, like how you're saying, like kind of you have to re-examine things once you release something in the wild, and other people, because you could be locked in a room with a group of people and they're like, oh, if we do this, then we should follow it up with this and follow it up with that. But then if you release it to the public, they might be like, well, fuck that, and you're like, but that's what we are going to follow up with. You know what I mean? So you have to like re-examine your idea. It's like Star Wars. Remember, like Force Awakens came out. That movie was a massive hit, made $2 billion, and Ryan Johnson, who was gonna start, who wrote Episode 8 and was gonna start directing Episode 8 in January. Remember, they had to delay filming to this month,
Yeah.
and he had to restructure his entire script because what people were enjoying from Force Awakens, he wanted to incorporate more of that into Episode 8. And in doing so, now that movie comes out December 2017 as opposed to May 2017. And of course,
Yeah.
it's a bummer, right, that's delayed, but, I like that. I like that they re-examined it and they're not just being a machine, like a well-oiled machine. They're saying, fuck, that didn't work. Let's try this out. I think that's so fucking wonderful. Because
Yeah.
it's just at the end of the day, years from now, when you sit down to watch the sequel trilogy, it might flow better, it might work better, and you're like, oh, thank God, as opposed to being stuck in a room and dude, even like, look, I'm not like a big time filmmaker or anything, but I'll give you an example. I made a movie called Drunk Max, and in that movie, there's a character that I didn't think too much about. His name is Rico Ropa. He's a sock puppet, and people really like that character. Like, when I showed it at the premiere, people thought he was hilarious. When I spoke to people about it, they said he was one of their favorite characters. He's now a sidekick to Max in the sequel. In the second movie, Rico Ropa is like Max's sidekick. He's like his right hand, no pun intended, right hand man that kind of comes out more in the movie. And that was a reflection because of what people thought. Originally, Rico was hardly in part two. Rico was barely in it. He was going to have as much screen time as he did in the first movie. So even as someone who just makes movies for shits and giggles, I don't get paid for any of this. Like, it happens. We're human beings. We're social creatures. We get influenced by, other things. So I'm very happy when I see that. I'm glad that Jeff Loeb is of that mind, to be like, we don't fucking take anything for granted. I like that. I appreciate that. That takes integrity to think that way.